Trigger warning: suicidal ideation, depression, some dark stuff. Really appreciate it if you found it in you to listen to this, but this one is heavy. Thanks for listening. This is not to solve, only to understand. Let's clean the mirror and gaze. Parental figures in our lives are allowed to expect things of us. The popular opinion in our cultural experience at the moment is that life was thrust upon us. No choice, no consideration, no consult. We've been brought here against our will. And therefore, the culprits in this carnal sin need to sit their butts down, love and enable us, and want nothing in return. They should take our kindness as pure kindness and ask for nothing in return. Not loyalty, not duty. Now, while this realization has dawned on me, the theme of this project remains instilled. I've not come to this realization to act on it. My accountability remains minimal. My actions continue to be limited. The only responsibility that I choose to acknowledge is that I will observe. I will realize this. I will put it to words. That's it. A home is comfort, support, and guidance. I was paid droves in dividends. I have no complaints. I thrived in the prison of my childhood. The prison was self-imposed largely, but it was understood that it was a prison. I was a walking, breathing comfort zone to myself and others. I was easy, malleable, squishy, and I still am those things. Don't get it twisted. My prison continued to expand, though, allowing more people in as I entered the real world. Well, as real as university can be, I'm not negligent towards that fact. But it was more real than school, for sure. Uni had cigarettes, girls out of my league, and everyone was older than I was. I started when I was 16, and fuck me, I was 16. I was the child prisoner and the child guard to the same prison. A closed room with hundreds of people and rules set by a child. Shit slowly but surely got out of hand. The people I let in changed me. I can't say that they hurt me, but the injuries grow ugly calluses. I had toughened up. Sydney came to me on a silver platter, now a fully formed teenager with the emotional intelligence and toughness of a 17-year-old boy at the age of 19. It was all I needed to start again. I was a walking cocoon with fresh boundaries, no longer the caterpillar, for better or worse. I threw it all out the window. My life was starting anew. I was working on becoming what my family wanted me to be, knowingly and unknowingly. In my hubris, I saw that the child prisoner is now a big old boy. It was time for the child prisoner to show up all grown with a mission. Everything I hadn't wanted in my life was deemed an enemy. Relationships, surface level friendships, music I had previously loved but deemed shallow. Shout out Linkin Park, and sorry. I love you again now that I'm all grown up. And many other things were now personified combatants. They became human enemies with throats that needed to be cut. Life was a big trip, and I was now in the front passenger seat, baby. I was not on the back of the bus, no sir. I mean, notice that I said that I was not driving still. Someone else was in that seat. I still don't know who. Secretly, I was taking this journey out of spite. I spited them all. Everyone without exception. The ones that deserved it, and certainly the ones that didn't. Most people didn't deserve it. No one actually deserves it. But I realized that it was just the reality as I was writing this paragraph. I was going away and was determined that I was going to find out the truth of it all when I got back. I was the dutiful eldest boy. I did laundry, I cooked when I could, ate frozen food when I couldn't. I ordered food twice a week, and by God, I had lost 30 kilos of baby weight. All 8.9 babies that I had eaten were now off my waistline. I found love for architecture, which came by surprise. Apparently, when all the bullshit of being a child with adult feelings subsided in a new environment, I was granted the ability to focus, finally, and a desire to create. For the first time, I felt pride in creation and saw the value of the things I was making. I was never under the grand illusion that I could change the world, but I was convinced that I could make my corner of it pretty fucking nice. I ignored everyone except my mom. I called every day. I kept the budget my dad set, and I was off. The door was slammed in the face of everyone else. In my unrelenting, self-imposed solitude, light started to show. I was, for the first time in my life, creating functional friendships with people I respected, admired, and loved. I cared for them, and they cared about me too. They were mostly girls, except Vinny and David. Shout out. I was at a disadvantage. The degree I chose was 70% female, so healthy male friendships showed themselves later when I rekindled the connections that I had with my old friends, who were grown adults when I returned occasionally to the old stomping grounds of Sharjah. I still love my boys and girls both. If any of you are listening, know that you all saved me without knowing it, and I love you all. Around this time, I started my very first romantic relationship, the one I was meant to have as a teenager, with all the negatives and positives of it. I bloomed late in all aspects of everything, if you hadn't noticed. My obsession was in full force. I was obsessed with becoming. Becoming what, you ask? I don't fucking know to this day. All I knew is that I was becoming and I liked it. My work in university was showing me that I might be able to become something. I dreamt of better cities, better communities, designs that were meant for people. Homes, streets, fucking chairs, cups, sculptures even. Social justice systems that worked and applied in the spatial fabric of a city. A life for me and other foreigners on a colonized land that acknowledged all, loved all, nurtured all. A complete life in this incomplete world. We were all going to reap the benefits. I was in my grand illusion of purpose. I submitted my final project. I had what I still think was a cool presentation, dope sculptures and textures, a book laid out in pretentiousness describing exactly how this little community was going to impact the city. And when I explained it all for the last time, my instructor was moved to tears. No one else gave a fuck. I was recognized. It was a top project in some aspects, and people thought it was cool. We took the photos, shared the tearful hugs, and bid farewell to Wilco, our home base building, and we all went our way. Fresh graduates with grand dreams and a hope to make our little corner of the world pretty fucking nice. The final presentations were over, and my parents and sister had their visas and tickets to come attend my graduation. I was going to graduate. I was going to start a career in a new country. I was going to give my father the safety and reassurance that our family was going to continue, that all his years of labor were going to show, and that we were going to find stability. This was December 2019. Tragedy struck in 2020. If you weren't around, the whole world stopped moving for a second to breathe and recover, ironically. Me and many others were forgotten. We were left behind. When it came time to pick up our dreams again and hit the unpause button, the world was gone, man. Way past me. Others had graduated. I was but one of thousands of fresh kids on the block who all had ideas, all were qualified. Mine were good, but there was just so many others. So fucking many, dude. And when internships refused me and I was locked down in Sydney, I rediscovered music. This time more deeply than I ever have. I started streaming on Twitch, recorded reactions and album reviews, and I was writing. I was in my element again. What brewed beneath the surface was that my long-distance relationship was falling apart. I was harboring an immense depression. And I became suicidal. I told my father, and he offered me an out. He offered me the chance to give up and start again. He told me to come back home. His life was falling apart too at the time, but he still cared more about mine. My father's dream was put on hold. He loved me more than he loved anything else. I felt that, and it hurt a lot. It hurt that I was nothing. I was not what he needed. I was not what he had hoped. I failed. He loved me, and I hurt and failed. Coming back home was bittersweet. Endings, beginnings, all of that stuff. I'll spare you the details. Wink, wink. I hurt more than I have before. I told my parents, I told my friends, and there was nothing they could do. I told my therapists, plural, and there was nothing they could do. I kept it from my partner at the time, largely. I was ashamed. I was no longer becoming. I was not worth anything. Death suited me so well then. What dawned on me was I was seeking love. I was seeking an unhealthy love, a love of adoration and worship for all the things I was meant to become. I was seeking love to conceal my ultimate shame. My ultimate shame was simple, but it eluded me. My ultimate shame was that in all the time that I had spent becoming, I had failed to do the most important thing. I had failed to learn to love myself. I have now returned. I was finding out the truth that I promised I would find when I got back. No, the world was not a thief of joy. The world was not here to steal and fuck your dreams into pieces. No, the universe did not conspire against you, even though it might seem that way. It was indifferent to you, my friend. It simply is, and you just are. Can't remember who said that. Someone important did, but for the life of me, I can't remember right now, and I'm not going to look it up. There was no grand purpose. I had none, and you don't. You have family, friends, dependents, loved ones, work, hobbies. You are meant to experience it all. You are meant to love and worship, and that is simply all of it. You are meant to find your own ways to love and worship, but still, it really is that simple, friend. I'll tell you who I am, and you can tell me who you are. My name is Marwan Ibrahim. I am the star. I am the son of two oceans and a river. I have rusted eyes and a purple beating heart. I am recovering, and it is going really well. I am wholly blessed, and I am completely loved. If this left you with a question, write to me. If it makes you remember someone, go for a walk toward that memory, and then write to me. Thanks for listening.